hydration system. This was huge because, again, you can't just run to the sink and grab water on the trail. You have to get it from where you're at. And up in Maine and New Hampshire, those northern states, it's a lot of stagnant water. It's a lot of lakes, ponds, runoffs that just kind of sit, especially in the rainy season. So when you're on the trail, you want to stick to mainly free-flowing water that's very clear, as close as you can get to groundwater, so coming straight out of the mountain, which a lot of times there are springs where it's coming directly from the mountain, and that's totally fine to just drink from. Totally fine to drink from. It's up to you. But you really should be treating your water either with iodine tablets, because you're going to get giardia, which I'll talk about here later. But you may get some kind of waterborne illness, which will leave your gut extremely unhappy. You may not be able to complete the hike kind of situation. You may be damaging your health for the long run in life. But with that stagnant water, you have to treat it. So what I was using was a catadine system, and I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. I could be wrong. But I had their sacks, like their little drink sacks that had a mouthpiece on them, and they filtered as you were drinking, which was great for me because I didn't want to take the time to squeeze the water into water bottles. I just wanted to fill it up, go, and be done. But I did carry 2 smart water bottles because they're very tall and long. They fit into my pack water bottle holders very easily. So those were my surplus amounts of water in case I went long stretches without water and I needed to drink. Because as you progress south, mainly into Virginia, there's a lot less water prevalent. So you have to store water. I think there was like a 50-mile stretch without any water. So you really have to just make sure that you have enough on there. You kind of go into it like, okay, I need to have enough water on me for the full day, even if I'm passing water constantly. You don't want to just get down to your last water bottle because you don't know when your last water source will be. And then especially as you're getting into camp, you want to go into camp with all your bottles full, or unless you know that camp has a spring that is active, because some of them do go dry. Different parts of the season, like the winter, they're going to go dry. So lots of different planning based on the season you're in. You have to do your research into like how the waters flow through the system, through that terrain in that specific state during different seasons of the year. So kind of familiarize yourself with that. And then for gloves, because I did hike in the winter, I had winter gloves. I used North Face gloves. I still have them. They're like snow gloves. And like for like shirts and jackets and stuff, I hiked in basketball shorts. I hiked in a merino wool long sleeve shirt that had like a quarter zip so I could vent it out. And I had a Patagonia down jacket. Anything down cannot get wet because it takes a long time to dry. Whereas synthetic can get wet because it'll dry faster, but it won't move through the system quite as fast. So I went with the synthetic bag, but a down jacket because I thought there was less chance of my jacket getting as wet. That was my system that I used. It worked great. I think I had to dry out my sleeping bag a couple times because as you camp for a long time, again, I was on the trail over 100 days. So that tent got its wear out of it. It started to leak towards the end, mainly through the footprint of the tent. So it did start to leak. My stuff did start to get wet. And if I wasn't choosing my camping place correctly or just thoughtfully the night before, I could end up with like a wet footprint of the tent. That was just going to happen. Whatever happens. Whatever. It happens.